No, he was dialed in. He was making quality pitch after quality pitch, and even when he fell behind a couple of hitters to battle back, no, that was an exceptional performance by him.
Yeah, kind of had a tough outing last week. What was the big difference tonight?
We were behind a lot of counts, and that was one of the things that we just stressed coming into this. They may hit it, they may knock it around, they may do whatever, but we're not going to be behind in the count. We're gonna attack the strike zone and make them do it rather than put them in very hittable counts. So I think that was the biggest adjustment, is just trusting the stuff. Hitting's a really, really tough thing to do, but we make it easier if you get behind in a count, because you then become predictable. I just thought he did a really good job of getting ahead of people and staying ahead, and then eventually putting them away.
His energy, he was like fist pumping and running all around the entire night. What went into that?
Well, you would hope, that's what it's competition that it should be. I think our guys were excited to, play an opponent maybe quote unquote we're not supposed to beat. So it was, it felt different for the guys in the clubhouse. We came off a tough loss on Tuesday. Nobody liked that feeling, and I think it was just some resolve, some refocusing on what it takes to win, and not letting your teammates down. But he's an upperclassman, and that's what upperclassmen are supposed to do. They're supposed to lead, and I think he put the team on his back tonight and pitched us to a Friday night win.
I know you don't like to talk about the 100-pitch thing that a lot of people, but were you kind of surprised that he was pumping 95, 96 in the ninth inning?
No, because he works at it. I mean, his mechanics are sound. I can't remember if I said it in here or somewhere else, but I mean, his pre-start routine is as good as there is that anybody I've ever been around. So he takes care of his body, and that's what we look for more, is like, what's the guy doing stuff wise? Is he falling off his mechanics? Is his velo dropping? But yeah, I mean, he's still 95 in the ninth, and he would have punched me in the face if I'd gone to take the ball away from him. So, and he's bigger and stronger than me.
Is this the next step in his evolution, being able to work really deep into some of these games where he's being a little more efficient than he has been?
Well, yeah, I mean, truth be told, I mean, we left, 14 on tonight. In a perfect world, you get him out of there with a 5-6 run lead or something. We just didn't get that big hit to stretch it out. But more importantly, I'm going to keep it to tonight, because we don't want to do that all the time with him. But it was important to get a win. It was important to keep us in position to control our own destiny within the conference. And as I said, he was not showing any signs of fatigue or whatsoever. But in a perfect world, we'd stretch that out and maybe hand the ball to somebody else. But that wasn't going to happen tonight.
When a team's struggling like you guys were after a couple games, how can a game like tonight or a start like his kind of maybe be the difference?
Well, I think it's, I'm big on, I don't want to say this because it's kind of what we said to the team the other night, and it's going to play into kind of our approach for tomorrow. I keep referring to, and you all saw it, you all wrote about it probably too, one of the worst things I've ever seen on a baseball field on Tuesday. You got to wipe that clean. That was horrible. That was like at this end of the spectrum. Tonight, his performance, that's at this end of the spectrum, fantastic. But it really doesn't matter. We got to put that away, and now Boyd Vanderkoy has to be just as solid tomorrow, because that's a really good baseball team over there. So I think you got to have a short memory, whether you win or whether you lose, and get focused on the challenge at hand, which is the next game. And but from a teaching standpoint or from a learning standpoint, we got a lot of young pitchers in that dugout. For them to see that type of performance, I think that certainly has benefit for sure.
Tracy, how have you kind of seen his stuff evolve as the season progressed? How was it tonight? His slider was a real weapon for him.
He's been able to throw multiple pitches. The thing with him is when he struggles a little bit, it's hard to say a guy's struggling when he's doing as well, but when he's been off a little, he's been behind. And I think his focus tonight was, I don't care what happens, I'm going to get ahead. And then when I get ahead, then I can open the bank with my repertoire of pitches. And when you're throwing 95, 96 miles an hour and being able to drop your off speed in there when you want, makes it pretty tough on somebody.
You picked that guy off in by a lot.
Yeah.
Just that one situation there, what did that kind of?
Well, that was a momentum thing, because I think it was 2-1 at the time, I think, and that was leadoff guy on. I mean, that was a, I've said multiple times, game, this conference is a really good conference. It's going to come down to those one or two plays in a baseball game that could take the game out away from you or give you the win. And I think that, you know, and I'm not critical of them. We've done it. So, but that's a key play in that situation, because that leadoff guy on clearly with a guy that's on his game, and when you give him an out like that, like they gave us, I mean, I thought it certainly got our momentum back in our dugout.
You guys were facing a pitcher tonight who kind of looks like he has a deceptive fastball and good off-speed stuff, and yet it seemed like you're really making like solid contact in a lot of the at-bats.
Yeah, you know, and yes, we thought we were going to move the baseball tonight. We felt really confident in that. I'll give him credit, man. I mean, he stranded a lot of runners. He made good pitches, big pitches when he needed to. But we were really confident. You know, Mike Early talking to the hitters before the game, we felt like we were going to put some runs up tonight on him. And in fact, that's what he said. Don't look at his ERA. I think we're fine. And, you know, he shut us down run-wise, but I was pleased with our bats we were able to put together off of him.
How did you feel about the fans turnout tonight?
It's great. You know, we appreciate the people's support as always, and, you know, hope they come out again.
How do you expect wins like this like big wins against big opponents like Oregon State, to draw more fans to games?
Well, I don't know. Everybody loves a winner. Yeah. I'll ask Kelly, the ticket person in the back of the room. She probably has a better. She's probably wanting more wins, so we sell more tickets, right, Kelly? Yeah.
We had 8 hits from Carter on down tonight, so the bottom of the order, if you want to put it that way, really gave you some nice production.
The balance, I thought, was key, you know, and that's what we've strived to put together as an offensive lineup that can execute top to bottom. And when you have that balance, it makes it tough on the opposition. Those guys executed perfectly. Outside of maybe a couple of bats I thought we gave away. But other than that, if you just keep grinding out at bats, I think we've got capable people 1 through 9 in our lineup to do damage. And I think I'm looking at that. Everybody got a hit tonight. Everybody that started got a hit tonight. You couldn't ask for more than that.
Like you were saying, with the confidence facing a guy like that, are there certain styles that you guys, opposing pitchers, that you guys feel more confident against, or the lineup, or is it?
Well, I mean, no, I mean he throws strikes. I think, what do you have, like 5 walks coming into the game, you know, on the season. So it tells you he's going to be in the zone. I'll take our chances with somebody that's going to be in the zone. We've got really, you know, I think we hit. You know, guys are pretty smart. They executed their plan, but still, it's one of those games. I'll be very honest with you. I look up in the 8th inning, we're up 4-1. You felt like you've dominated the game, and in the back of your mind, you're going, "Gosh, we've left." I didn't know what it was till after the game. We left a lot of guys on base. They're one more guy getting on in the 9th from bringing up arguably the best player in the country. One swing of the bat from tying the game. So you know, we've seen stranger things have happened. So I was really proud of our guys for not letting off the accelerator at all tonight. And and Alec was certainly key to that.
Is something like that, some of those like margin of error things where that gets smaller when you play good teams,
Oh,
you're going to give up some of those?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's why you got to make every, you know, we made a couple mistakes tonight, which we'll address. But you got to minimize those things, because it's going to be something that's minute at that. Jeff brought up the pickoff. I thought that was huge. You know, I thought that was huge, and got the momentum back in our dugout. It's when you're playing good teams, yeah, you have to capitalize on their mistakes, and you can't make mistakes.
The play that Carter made in the 8th arguably was even more of a momentum swing than a pickoff. How have you seen his growth as an outfielder, just from a defensive standpoint out there?
Well, he's a competitor, and you know, and I love having him on the field because he's always into it, you know, and I've said this numerous times. You know, he still sneaks in there and takes infield at third base, you know, so he in his mind he's an infielder. For us right now he's an outfielder, but he's embraced the role. He works at it. He's not super fast out there, but he works at getting his jumps. So he's a confident player. If you've ever talked to him, which I know you have, you know, he's a confident baseball player, and I think he takes that over to the field. Maybe if we have somebody out there that they're not confident enough to make that dive at that point, which we've seen in the last week, he made it, and it's a big play for us.
With RJ, just how did the meetings with the doctors go this week?
He's fine. I mean, he'll be back before the season's finished. Yeah.
Do you have a more like specific timeline yet on him? Or like
No,
is-
we're gonna, we'll be cautious with him and getting back to a point where, where we're not gonna sacrifice quality and not sacrifice where he is. But, it's nothing. All indications at this point, it's nothing tremendously serious. So we'll be cautious with him and get him back when he's ready.
Do you
Is
know?
Sam gonna start on Sunday?
What's that?
Is Sam?
I have no idea who's going to start on Sunday. Did we not announce TBA?
No, we did.
Okay, so I'm wondering why you're asking me who's going to start on Sunday. Read our game notes.
Will some of that just depend on maybe how tomorrow goes and who you might have to use?
Yeah, it's one game. I mean, it's one game at a time, and particularly, come on, guys. I'll say it. If your Sunday starter's on the shelf and we announce to be announced or to be determined, we're going to play this one game at a time, and we will let everybody in here know at the appropriate time who's starting on Sunday.
You've had a handful as well called messy games in a row.
Oh, you can call it that. I would agree with you.
Going back to maybe the Arizona finale, what does it feel just to play a game that was as clean as this one, kind of had a postseason feel to it?
The word I was using was sloppy. I mean, I think our play has been really sloppy as of late. But I'll also say this. I think, we tend to forget sometimes that we're playing a really, and I'm borrowing someone else's expression. I can't remember whose, but you're playing a really tough game with some very young kids, and sometimes we forget that. As difficult as our play has been, I keep referring to Tuesday because, again, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen, one of the toughest losses I've ever been a part of. And I think and I appreciate everyone that traveled. And you remember my demeanor afterwards. I said, it's really hard to talk about it because it was so bad you can't talk about it. But through those times, you'll almost take it if it kind of like punches you in the mouth a little bit and gets you to refocus, because that was the word we used. We don't lose, or we don't play that way if we're focused. And we were kind of shooting the warning signs, I think, the last few that we didn't deserve, quite frankly, to win the Sunday game against Arizona, and we got nipped on a team that we shouldn't have been beaten by. So the warning signs were coming. I think it was the ultimate gut punch for us on Tuesday to wake us up. And if that's what it takes to get us to be, unfortunately for us, it happened midweek. If that's what it took to get us to focus and understand how important that is, to be focused every pitch of every game as we get into arguably the toughest part of our schedule with the best opponents coming up, you know what, I'll take it. And so that was the focus of our preparation, our mindset. Everything we talked about was, okay, as bad as that is, we're still in really good shape here. So let's use this as a learning experience, and that's what we're here to do, is teach these guys and get them better. So I was proud of the way they responded to that, and I think they showed some maturity on that.
To get that message across, do you just like bring them together when you all get back together yesterday, or was it?
Well, I mean, yeah, we talked about it, and that was a big emphasis because our whole thing was, if you could replay that inning again, and you said you had a do-over, I bet you wouldn't let that happen. So what's the difference? The difference is, right here. So fortunately for us, we've got really, really good leaders in that locker room, really confident kids. That wasn't going to define who we are, and that wasn't even my message. Those guys were very confident coming off that. Very disappointed, but very confident, and I think it was, something that we probably needed to get us to refocus and get our heads right and understand what it takes to compete at a high level consistently if we want to be where we want to be.